So I wanted to talk today about the top 5 craziest things that my stepmother has ever done. And this is one that I'm really looking forward to, just because for years there was a lot of gaslighting in my family. So a lot of that never happened, or that happened but somehow you were actually the one that was mean. Or usually just complete denial, which makes you feel like you're insane. And if not for like my sister and sometimes my stepbrothers, I probably would have really thought I was insane. But since other people are there and are like, yeah, no, she's nuts, you know, there's that validation. I was trying to make it so that there was no glare in my glasses, and basically I failed, and now I'm just very sweaty. So yeah, that's why I'm just going to be casually drinking V8 like the 70-year-old woman I am. This one is actually pretty tame. That's why it's number 5. It's the least crazy thing, I think. When I graduated from college, she gave me this watch box and she said, "This is very, very special. Please pass this on to my grandchildren someday," which, holy shit, what do you mean your grandkids? But I digress. So she hands me this watch and she tells me that they saved up and that they got it for me and that it was very special. And it was a Rolex. And I was like, wow. And to be honest, I didn't think too much of it, because I just thought maybe, I don't know much about watches. I assumed it was like a $500 watch, which is kind of extravagant. Not anything I'd buy, but not like, you know, insane. So I kind of put it in the back of my mind, and then I started thinking later, what am I gonna do with that watch? Maybe I can sell it. And I looked it up, and the closest one that I could find to it said that it was worth like $10,000. And I was like, that's absolutely insane. How did they get that much money? Is she running up my dad's credit cards again? I don't know. But basically I was like, I'm gonna hawk this thing and then put a down payment on a house and be much happier with that. My dad knows me, I guess, and he reached out to my mom and he said, do not let Carolyn try to sell that watch. I don't know where it came from, but it is either fake or stolen and I don't want her to get arrested. He tipped us off ahead of time because he knew that I was about to go try to sell that thing so that I could, you know, afford living. She tried to pass it off as real. She told me to pass it on to my children. Yeah, turns out that she had bought it on like a Chinese knockoff website that, you know, is technically like, I don't know, the dark web or something, because it's illegal to buy them and sell them in the US. But she had given every single child, which is me, my sister, and her 2 sons, Rolexes when they graduated. And right after Christmas, I started a group chat with all the kids, and then me and my stepmom and my stepdad, and I said, Happy New Year, all your Rolexes are fake. And that's how they found out. I don't even know where this came from. Well, I guess maybe I kind of do. I was supposed to stay at the house while they were gone and watch the dogs or something. And I asked my dad if I could have a friend over, but my stepmother had said no. So I was allowed to, but I was not allowed to say that I had a friend over. I had to keep it a secret from his wife, which is always a really comfortable position to put your teenage kid in. And so I had a friend over. Whatever, she left the next day. Total normal sleepover for teenage girls. But unfortunately, she forgot a pair of sweatpants at my dad's house. And so she was much smaller than me. So it was pretty obvious that the sweatpants didn't belong to me or my stepmother or anybody else. So when she found those sweatpants, she somehow concocted this idea in her mind that I must have allowed my cousin to come over and bring a girl up into their bedroom to have sex. No idea where she got that from. That definitely did not happen. I mean, I don't even know if I have to say that, but yeah, that definitely didn't happen. From there on out, it only progressed. So I somehow got accused of bringing random men into the house and doing stuff with them on every single piece of furniture. Again, no basis in reality there. I married the guy I met when I was 17, and I dated like 3 people before then over like the course of several years. So really bizarre issues that she had. And they didn't believe me. Well, my dad presumably did, because I know he's smart in some ways. But yeah, so they changed the locks, and she said that she wasn't comfortable with me having a key because I was not to be trusted. She accused me of running a brothel for, I guess, myself and for my cousin. And honestly, that would have been a lot more interesting than the fact that I had friends over and we watched, like, Cake Boss. This one actually upsets me the most. So, she accused me of stealing her pain medication and also implied that she believed I was selling it. I was 17 years old. I brought this old record player over for my dad to help me clean up that I bought for my then boyfriend, now husband. And she was like, I'm just wondering how you afforded that. And I was like, well, my mom gave me $100 this past month and it cost $50 at Goodwill. So I was just getting a nice present for my boyfriend. I thought he'd like it. I came over another time, and it had been weeks since then. And she was refusing to come out from the upstairs room, and I wasn't sure what was going on. And my dad basically gets in an argument with her. They come down the stairs yelling at each other, and he says, you said that you caught Carolyn with her hand in your pill bottle. And I was just sitting there on the couch looking at my phone, and I just looked up and I was like, what? I hadn't been there in weeks. I had no idea what she was talking about. She panicked because she did not like being called out like that. I panicked because I was just accused of taking narcotics, presumably because she'd had knee surgery. Yeah, that was bizarre. And I think that what she was trying to get at whenever I had that record player was that I was selling her drugs so that I could afford to buy a $50 record player from Goodwill. Because if I was slinging Oxy, that's what I'd be buying. You know, 17-year-old teenage girl with like intense trauma, definitely slinging Oxy in rural Western Pennsylvania, and then using it to buy beaten up old record players. I mean, it's just common sense. Now, this one I think is the most alarming, or is at least the most, would have the most serious consequences, but I have no idea what her history is with this. But she lied about her nursing degree. How do I know this? I know this a couple of ways. I did a weekend-long nursing program to explore the profession when I was a teenager. She had said that she was a neonatal nurse practitioner and that she worked at McGee Women's Hospital in Pittsburgh for many years and only had to quit once she got sick. And so I did a tour of McGee Women's Hospital as a part of this program. And I said, oh, my stepmother worked here for years. And they were like, oh, what's her name? And I told them her name, and they were like, we've never heard of that person before. And we would know. We don't know that person. I just brushed it off as, oh, maybe they forgot her somehow. And I really didn't think about it for quite some time. I got a job working in credentialing. That's what I do right now. It's like a human resources thing. I run background checks. And while they were training me, they taught me that I can go ahead and run people's name, nursing information to verify that their licenses are valid. And any license they've ever had will come up, even, and they'll say like active, expired, you know, needs renewal, etc., etc. So out of curiosity, I decided to run my stepmother's. And lo and behold, it just said RN. She was never a nurse practitioner, ever. And it would show if she was. So that is a lie not only about her certification, but the amount of education that she received also, because she had this long story about graduating early from high school and, you know, going to Penn State main campus to start off with, which is a big deal. If you're from Pennsylvania, you know that's a big deal for their nursing program. And how then she said she went to like this other school for a master's degree in nursing, and Turns out that school doesn't even offer master's degrees in nursing. Yeah, so I have no idea what her history is. She was apparently an RN at one point. Point is, there's some issues there. Who knows how much of a nurse she was, where she worked, or what she ever did, what school she ever went to. But her and my dad bonded over the fact that they both went to Penn State, and she made up the story about how she was there at the same time that he was, and there's no way. It's just not possible. Not with her degree, not with anything. So she's full of shit there too. This whole thing was just so insane. She started screaming one time when we were on a family vacation. She called everybody into this room so that she could continue to scream at my father in front of all of us. And there also was one of my stepbrother's girlfriends. Her mother had passed away a few years earlier of cervical cancer brought on by HPV. And my stepmother called us all in and proceeded to scream about how my father gave her HPV and gave her cervical cancer. So not only is that something you really don't want to know about as a teenager, but as far as I know, it also was not true. But that started her long journey of faking cancer, where she would go to doctor's appointments but not allow anybody else to go with her, say her counts were bad, which never give any specifics. She actually blamed me once. She told me I was making her cancer worse and killing her, which was, I was like 15 and I was like devastated at that. Her cervical cancer, which I think really what happened is she had an abnormal pap smear, and then they did a biopsy and nothing was going on. But she decided to just completely lose her shit about it, which, I mean, an abnormal pap smear can be like a yeast infection. And yeah, my dad bought her a sports car, a Subaru Breeze, very expensive. He likes to buy Subarus for crazy women, but that's another story. She repeatedly got it stuck in the driveway. She ended up crashing it, like really dramatically, making up a bunch of stories about how she wrecked it. I don't even know what happened, but she wrecked it. And yeah, her cervical cancer seemed to be cured by this amazing car. My dad bought her a car and it went away. Her cancer was cured. All of a sudden, no more talk of cancer. All of a sudden, her cancer was gone. So yeah, those are just like the 5 craziest things that I can look back and kind of laugh about. You know, there was a time that she told me that the tape on my back after I had my spine fused was an allergic reaction to my pain medication. She stole my pain medication and I ended up in the hospital delirious because it's only post-op by less than a week. So I was in excruciating pain because my spine's fused 22 inches. And lo and behold, she had just thrown away my pain medication, which I'm 99% sure now she stole a 15-year-old girl's pain medication after a spinal fusion surgery. And also, somebody with any medical experience at all, whether it's an RN, LPN, whatever, anybody knows tape will make your skin red if you peel it off. And that's all it was. So anyway, thanks for watching. There's, you know, plenty more history that's just not funny enough to talk about, that's just painful and abusive and not great, but these are some of the funnier things, and I still have more, like how she made up a story about our St. Bernard getting tased by the police. Maybe that should have been on the list, honestly. But anyway, I will post again soon, and thanks for watching.